blind in the entire process. Be reduced to spectators, which is inconceivable to this practice. Colleague Jeremy, thank you very much.
The honorable members of the court, and I'm representing the Lord Al-Rush. Indeed, while taking oath of office, by the provisions of so Article 10 of the Constitution. That the manner in which and corroborated assigned, or that they are, my lord, and the expectation that but it started at the point of bombers was a true 34B, but they were never given part of any accountable documents that at the time of the declaration at the 20 claims things were calmed down to my clients the 15th for their towards the declaration of results by the chairperson with the Lord, I will just cite a few. One of them, that was a unilateral due diligence of the ballot paper does not take place. Lastly, of the elections in specific areas of the chairperson as the national by the commission it is apparent the affairs of the responded as the chairperson criminal and evil acts and that nothing good can come. Therefore, call my Senate.
Yes, my classified But the reality is from by telling the court before the elections, telling the court the truth, and for whether the IBC carried out the 38. Malan that there were, or maybe I should have, and 7 again, because the IBC is run because the results that things that had been put in place, or the results of the commission, maybe the other, the they took an office that they took was to protect, when they realized that abused by that position so that they could support, they were just, so all these names interest in the out because they want to request that you look at them within Kenya. We have parties from
missions. One, as a commission, they did what was within their mandate. Election as required by the right, what is required, terms that have been set out in the voting ended, and you'd note one thing that is affidavits is that they were this results, and they've said on the floor of the national, because they were handwritten, they would out that in this affidavits for the first 2 days, or they were being aired in a screen and to the media, requested that this visibly verifying and tally affirmed by both the president to put on those results and the parties that have submitted today, you publicly confirmed of Commissioner Wanderi. He says was that these results would be confirmed The chairman takes the position of the chairman. Did not verify it, and they did. In fact, in all of the affidavits, they say the summary of 47 counties have the results that are required of the 290 agents. These are the results. And every constituency, and the basis of that, then a Form 34C is not a Form 34C. And declared the result. That was we engaged these commissioners. We been given, and in fact, I was jointly by the firm of Gumbo and Company. It says at the close of voting, now the commissioners need. In fact, that information was never given to them. Voted not only for his fellow commissioners of this republic, as well as the institution. The ballot papers came to this not at the tallying center, it's about the whole. Vice Chairman put a register that were being addressed in one. Because this process was already late. Take ownership of the voter register on how to implement the decision. It's just not about the final. The commissioners are meant to do. Affidavit of a Commissioner Justice. To the voter, the commissioners needed to know access and the following rights. That information was kept in charge of that process. Lack of accountability. That a person has been declared the president. An oath, and they have a to the voters and to the people on the day of 15th. Explanation as to why the chairman was in a hurry. To ensure that the whole and so that these four commissioners, although they have taken a position here of approval to that process, in conformity with the Constitution, done, but they were betrayed by the chairman. Thank you.
to ask any question. The submissions we have had. When not expecting the answers now. I will start with
Judge President. From one, perhaps I can direct it directly. What is the relevance of the results or the outcome? The postponement of election, this resulted in category or polling station excess on this happens. Me is on the I've sought you addressed to Senior Counsel Professor Gender or the relief what section?
Justice Renard.
Very short ones. The first addressed us on the PDF format, but in the pleadings there is a. I'd like to immediately correct that. JPEG. It was JPEG. Would you then like to connect because you are. But I just like when you answer, so that we can get you and tampering and so on. And this could also go to many issues. The Venezuelans. That results, the puppet until the 11th hour. The question of the documented these grievances is that when you trust that in fact there are issues. What role did violence play at? Because we have I was attacked for Firoz Noroji. You've asked us to declare it unconstitutional. Please address that perspectivity. Innovative. In answer 89.1, we election. Please connect.
to participate in elections. Agreement on Article 89. Form 30. Then between the in handwriting being uploaded and changed, different people's handwriting. For Ms. Soweto, I was curious about on that. If 6 ballots, so but on the same day. Voter repression only to the presidential? Or is that an argument that can be used by elections were cancelled? Or, I mean, is it just separate elections? So how does one election?
Chief Justice, just a few. I think, Miss, you started is 50 plus 1. Question of voter turnout. Voter turnout. Marshaled. This staging. If I understood you correctly, the origin in mid-air to the tallying center, compare quite graphically appointed as commissioners, that nobody can face him. Because now what we are here, because you can imagine, but because I was annoyed by Willis for having tried to compare. So I'm just wondering, have nothing to do with to the tail end. The voter out there.
I have the lead petitioner or lead file. Petition number Odinga and Mother Karua and that are sought the alternative and after the inquiry that after the scrutiny all the claims which have been to be the basis for this in your rejoinder is going to be taken be meaning it. So is this is one justification? But now we are here. So come up that and give us fresh elections take place. Now is that yet one of the release substantially the commission, and you want us to hold him to illegalities, irregularities, not fit. How is that possible? Practically, on the ground, if you want us to navigate and apply serious remedies you're asking for, and we all never finally, the other questions have been
at the end of issues, but had noted down during the proceeding will answer. My concern is spoken about the commission. What about this? We have told it looked like. When did this commission effect of what Maina Kiai told this election is done is fast of the former. Is it called what? And as it originally, is it in? So stood the bombers in between must be by the nature of that image. And a few other things is that about that everything that So if in this process, in the event that we are has more fact, has more numbers, impugned as you have submitted today, comes.
Read petition. Team Senior Counsel Orengo. To find the chairman. Ibrahim explained you have that my dilemma is (51)(2) that is provided for the removal and is how do we go about that? To the Constitution, and that is also related so that if the court with the jurisdiction. In this case, I know we gazetted some the powers of the magistrates. Election offenses. Council, Mr. I still want to understand that is it constituencies were not, or because we saw that like did they become, when did the is there a stage where they went and announced and then stoppage? Because to Mr. Kibe Mungai, answer this, and tell did not make arrangements, especially the IMBC staff. How do you know that? Because they were in a polling station. Objective, so you needed to know 700 arrangements. I think those are clarifications that I
have one follow-up question. One says that the chairperson, the office shall become vacant if the 6 or In that context,
Rising out of the scrutiny, Junior, to explain covering the technical issue of
good evening. Scrutiny, and they give us in order number 2. Forensic image scans appear to be interpreted. It may not be possible for the that are contained, and so therefore smoothly. I am most obliged.
Yes, with your permission. We broke off over lunchtime the IEBC offices. I'm sorry, but I don't exactly what was going on. There are arguments and as by the time, even some of the simplest forensic image is not correct of the entire server. In fact, been agreed on was that so that there's no access. Also been agreed on. And the CEO of IEBC, the ICT was there, IEBC, and there was arguments happening between one. The CEO says this, but he doesn't. Political party. Then that confusion. We did try to sort out. Is it they are not getting, and we can has gone. I still feel very responsible for the implementation of this order.
Appearing to belabor the point.
Sorry, there's also an argument going on as to how many should be shown. Access to one, that they're not getting responsibility to answer that question. So
the court took justice progress in all the fronts, both in foreign that there has not been progress, because then item number 2, I'm most obliged.
we understood when we took the break, came back, the issue of as opposed to the
with that, allow me to when we started. The questions will be answered in yes.
Seven.